Rolling camera, speed and sound. In 3, 2.
Hello guys, welcome back to Watch Trading Academy. And joining me today is Mr. Cordelet. Sounds exciting.
Very exciting.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
And finally, our very own gets his 100K Club Award. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a good achievement. It's the beginning of a much greater achievement.
Right.
$100,000 rolling 12 months. You did it. How long did it take you to wake up that there's money in watches and take it seriously from the time you bought Watch Trading Academy? There's always this gap for some reason.
No, you're right. Well, anything I've ever joined, I've joined with skepticism. Not necessarily anything in my life. Even playing a sport, I don't know if this is for me. I did World's Strongest Man. I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I became a professional in it.
You mean you work out?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Discover something new.
So it took a few months, man. I think about 4 for me to really, all right, this is something that I'm actually doing.
Like 4 months where you're like, okay, I got to take this seriously. But what was the ticker?
So, I mean, at first from...
Like, how do we take a skeptic into an action taker?
The community helps. It really, and getting to talk to people who are real people and will take time out of the day to just like a FaceTime and be like, yeah, man, I've been doing this for 6 months and this is what I've done, or see the case studies in the group helps. I remember just straight out of part 1 basic training, I found a post on eBay and it was the back of a Navitimer. And it was the only picture and there was no description. I was like, this is exactly what they say to go after, you know? So I sent him a message. So I sent him a message. Hey, I'm really interested in your watch. Do you have any other pictures by any chance? And his response was sent from my iPhone. I was like, okay. I looked up his username, found his email, sent him an email like, hey, I'm the guy on eBay asking about your watch. I don't know if your message went through. And his response was fucking sent from my iPhone, but then his name, phone number, and like website or something. So I call him. He's like an 85-year-old man. He doesn't know how to use the internet. Exactly. You know what I mean? Spent an hour on the phone with him, and he's like, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to call. So end up telling him, like, yeah, I'm getting into watch trading. He tells me that he sells old Boy Scout shit. Similar, different, whatever. We kind of bond over it, and I end up getting the watch for significantly under. You know, he's been getting lowballed and no offers because of his terrible listing. Yeah, exactly what we teach, right? And I made a decent amount on that. And that was like a...
How much did you spend on that watch? How much did you make?
That was probably like $2,500. And
$2,500 first watch?
That wasn't my first watch. That was my first like
good one?
Okay. Yeah.
And how much money did you make?
I think I made about $800 on it.
So almost 30%?
Yeah.
Or 40%?
I mean, it's good. In a 1-hour phone call and then put it on buy, sell, trade and sold it.
It's excellent. Yeah. What were the watches before that you lost money on?
So
I always like talking about the losses because I feel like a lot of times people think it's like, oh, magically I hit it off and
I tell this to people all the time, especially like newer guys that join. Like a lot of people tell me 4 months in, like, hey man, this isn't for me. Like, at 4 months in, I made $0.
Oh.
You know, and it was my first ever watch was an Omega Seamaster 300M, and it had a big chunk out of the case, and you could see it in the pictures, but he wasn't really upfront about it. And I was at the time a little bit more non-confrontational. And I just, I look back at the listing, I'm like, I guess you can kind of see it there, whatever.
So you ate it, kind of.
I ate it. Couldn't sell it. And then realized, like, I need to get this thing fixed. So the positive is I made a relationship with a good watch dealer or watchmaker and got it fixed. And then sold it, lost, I don't know, $100 at the end of the day after the fees and everything. And after that, I would just go after anything that was like cheap, which is not necessarily what's taught, and not necessarily that's why I didn't really make money. And then I ended up getting part 2 where they have the buy these fucking watches, idiot, because I didn't know anything about anything in watches. I knew Rolex was a brand. That's it. So the extra hand holding of that showed me like, just buy these ones. They're liquid, and that's when it started to make some money.
Okay, so you finally got it after a few months, a couple of losses, you finally started making money. Tell me a little bit about the finding people in the community that helped you kind of believe that this was real. There's a lot of people who join and obviously post in the community before they even finish the course. They quickly like, I want help, and it's like, well, you even watch what you paid for. It's like, no.
Right.
What are some good behaviors or steps, perhaps, you're a liked person in the community, meaning people enjoy conversation, they respond to you. I would argue that not everybody gets a response from everybody all the time, you know, because they ask either dumb questions or prove that they're not committed. What was it you think that made it easy for you to specifically get help, right? From a person willing to spend a moment on, like, well, versus the behavior you today see in the group?
So have humility and understand, like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm doing, and it's not working. Can someone help me with X, Y, Z? You know, show that I've done some work. And then another guy so I'm a fireman by trade. There's another fireman in the group. Actually, you interviewed him pretty recently, Jordan Grugrau or whatever this last
Nice
name is.
kid. Yeah. You also get his award recently.
Right. So meeting up with him, we have something in common, and he had been doing this for longer than I had, and he had had success with it. So being able to navigate like our career and that. So finding someone with some common ground, but also he was one of 20 people that I talked to.
Completely unrelated. How does he have firefighters? Very tiny.
I don't know, dude. I think he
like,
just works on the ambulance.
Super strong or like what did I miss?
Not everyone is John Cordelette.
That's why I forgot that. And I was like, dude, like, does he carry people? I'm like, he's smaller than me. I'm not even that strong.
Maybe he's super strong, man. He's a dad. He's got dad strength.
Okay, just caught me a little bit off guard. I forgot that point.
But no, man, just the community's fucking great as long as you show I'm putting in some effort. Okay. Right? There are a lot of people who just complain. Like, there's very recently a guy complains, hey, I can't sell this watch. And people will give him advice. People will go head over heels offering advice. And he just doesn't respond, doesn't take any advice, doesn't change his listing, doesn't do anything. 2 months later, my watch doesn't sell. Hey, this isn't working for me. Well, what have you done? Right? Like, no one is going to, what other business in the world is someone going to take you and say, hey, this is how you make $100,000? Like, it doesn't exist. Like, put some effort in.
So that was really, you showed some work, and basically someone was willing to say, okay, this guy looks like he's struggling, but he's trying something.
Willing to admit my faults and not take myself too seriously.
So once you made some money on a watch and you got that belief that this is real, how did you get to a place where you're doing 10K a month?
I think one of the big kind of clicking things was in your book, I think it's Third Circle Theory, and towards the beginning, you talked about opportunities, and I could be wrong in the book, but opportunities everywhere. Just takes the person to realize that opportunity is there. So I had just moved from a suburb of Chicago to a very, very rich area of Chicago. And I went to like the nicest gym you could go to. It's more than a gym. It's like a social
like a social club, like this new mega gym.
Exactly. With the intention on meeting people there. And sat up at a bar, which a year prior to this, going to a bar at the gym was not existent in my head. Sat at a bar, guy sat down next to me. I said, hey man, nice watch. And conversation went from there. Just nice watch. I ended up buying that watch from him and making $3,000. Just because we became friends at a high-end, place. So putting myself in those places, getting the nicer car, going to the car meets, going to the car rallies, surrounding myself with rich people. Whenever I had clients working out who would deadlift 400 pounds and then want to get 500 pounds, I'd tell them, like, get away from the commercial gyms, go to the gym where they're deadlifting 600 pounds, and you will grow. I don't know how the fuck that works, but surrounding yourself with those people works.
Okay, so surrounding yourself with people who are successful, basically, it was okay.
Go where the money is.
What brands are you specializing in? Or did you not really find those specialties?
Man, I really am pretty diverse, to be honest. I still do the BCV watches. It's an easy $1,000 on these watches. Like it truly is. I'm trying to up my, minimum or up my highest price watch. Before 20K was a very scary wire to send. Now 50K is a scary wire to send, so I have to send the 50K wire, right? This last couple of months, I've done really well with Lange, a German brand. I've found the client, like, that is not their first watch, that's not their last watch. They've got 60 fucking watches, and that was also a big thing, is realizing how many of those people that have these huge watch collections exist.
Going back to before trading watches, you said there was some skepticism about the program. Did you have a background in watches, or did you have Did you know about?
I knew Rolex was a brand.
Right, but you didn't know, like you didn't have a Submariner or Daytona or something like you
When
wanted to.
when
own,
I
you know,
was,
like was it like were watches a part of your like life or not really? Like
no, I bought a Movado when I was like 20, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then I was afraid
that's
to
what
wear
I'm
it,
trying to
too.
get to. If you're not a watch guy, what made you interested in? I
Oh,
always
sure.
say like,
So
why did you suddenly think that? Oh, if I'm skeptical, and I see a program,
Yeah.
and I'm not into watches, why
Right.
would I think that that program is worth going after? I'm just curious about the mindset.
So I joined ECH, and the reason I found
the car
that-
side. Okay.
Yeah. I always, like any guy in the world, I've loved cars forever. I had just bought an Aston Martin, and I was looking up like, how do I rent this thing out on Turo? And I came across your article saying you're an idiot if you put your car on Turo,
Sure, yeah.
which got me into ECH. And I saw really good success out of that program. And I saw someone's post or an ad or something on, I'm paying for my exotic car with a couple of watch sales.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was just I reached out to that person and was like,
So that got your curiosity going to
Exactly.
go to, even though you
Yeah.
didn't have any background in watches. you
Right,
cared.
right.
Okay. And you came into this watch trading game with how much money total? Like willing to put on the line for the.
yeah, with the whole skepticism factor, like, well, my first watch was $3,000.
But that's what you were willing to like
Yeah.
price out.
After that, going through the process, even though I lost money on it, I still could see this is a thing.
I understand.
This is
So it was a real thing because the transaction took place, and it wasn't like I bought a watch
and
and I
the,
don't
the
cancel
community,
it.
I could see everybody else and their success, and I could see the real people. And then I probably put in like a total of $10,000, I think.
Okay, in it. Okay. And here you are finally with $100,000 in profit, which is a
Yeah.
pretty good deal, right?
It doesn't suck.
And you now went through a Lamborghini and a Ferrari as well.
Right. Yep.
How has owning an exotic helped in the watch selling space? Have you leveraged your car in the
I have.
offline world, or like
Yeah.
we've heard from other people who said they joined car clubs? You know, like I've basically
Sure.
met a lot of people in their neighborhoods. You know,
Right.
as a result of the cars. And
So, like I said, being part of this like kind of richer area in Chicago is I am a part of a lot of these like car things. I will park my car outside of a nice steakhouse and have an outside dinner, you know, with my fiance, and people will come up and be like, "Is that your Ferrari?" I'm like, "Yeah." And that will lead to conversations, which I'll give a business card, which maybe 2 months later they'll say something. Or I'll go to car shows, and previously when I had the Lamborghini, like owning a Lamborghini, people think you know what you're talking about, whether you do or don't.
Right.
You know, and then same thing with the Ferrari, like how much is that fucking car? How old are you? You're a fireman? I'm like, well, I own a watch trading business as well. And that just piques their interest in that. I've probably, I don't know, 20% of my clients are from it.
because of having a car.
Yeah.
So it literally pays for the car.
Yeah.
Meaning for like whatever the
Yeah.
structural payment or whatever of the car is.
Well, yeah, one sale is more than mine.
Well, now that you've owned both a Lamborghini and a Ferrari, what do you prefer?
The Ferrari I have is nicer than the Lamborghini I had. I would prefer to drive an Aventador.
Oh, a New York Lamborghini. Okay.
You're right. Well, the 458 is the same year as the Gallardo,
Right.
so a million times nicer the 458.
Okay, so you felt like that was better, like
Yeah. Now a new Ferrari versus new Lamborghini, I couldn't tell you yet.
Yeah.
You know, I hope.
Well, that's where
soon tell you.
250, 500 comes in. You know, like the cars get better, Aventadors get there, etc.
Right.
Well, listen, thank you so much for
cool.
sharing your
Thank you.
success with us. I mean, listen, guys, if you haven't seen it, John has done a great job in the community helping others, and a big opportunity. You guys who haven't linked up with him, make sure you DM him,
Please.
connect with him, and have him be that support for you guys, just like someone was for him back then. Really cool dude, generally speaking, and a good testament to following the training and not necessarily reinventing the wheel like almost every single 100K club interview. And what I always pose at the end of each interview is who will be next? Who will be the next person to join us to actually be in a position to make not just six figures doing this, but change their life. So will you be the next person on the couch? We'll catch you next time for Watch Trading Academy.